I used to spend between $1,000 and $1,500 on groceries every single month for just 2 people, just because I wasn't really paying that much attention, and I found it really overwhelming to both meal plan and stick to a budget. But last year I had to really get serious about paying off some debt, so I created this Notion template that helps me to meal plan and budget all in one, and it's one of the main tools that I credit with being able to pay off over $43,000 of debt last year. This template does have some quirks, which is one of the reasons I'm giving it away for free, but I'm going to walk you through the entire thing right now, and there is a link in the description if you want to follow along. And if you've never used Notion before, you can sign up for free. This template totally works on the free plan. Just use the link in the description below for that as well. When you first copy this into your Notion workspace, this is the view that you're going to see, and this is where you do the actual planning. I'm going to go through each page and then we'll come back to this to actually do the planning. So the first place you want to go each month is this ingredients page, and this is where you're going to keep an inventory of the things that you already have in stock in your house. So like right now I have 3 apples, 4 pounds of chicken tenderloins. For most people, the produce, protein, dairy, and bread are the ones that you're going to have to update more frequently. For a lot of things like condiments and seasonings, you're not going to be coming in here every month saying I have 27 teaspoons of allspice. So the way I do this is if I have it in stock, I just put 100. If I'm getting low, I put 0 so that it's on my list the next time I go shopping. When I first set this up, what I did is just take the opportunity to clean out my entire fridge and pantry, get rid of stuff that was expired, and just fill in as much of this information as I can. What allows this template to work in terms of building a budget for you and helping you see the nutrition of your meals is for each ingredient, you're going to pick a unit. I like to use the unit that is most commonly used in recipes. So even though for bacon, I might buy it by the pound, I use it per ounce in recipes most frequently. Then you're going to put the amount of stock that you have on hand. So for bacon, maybe that would be like 12 ounces. I've put in the cost that is most accurate for where I live and the prices that I pay at the grocery stores that I shop at, but this is possibly going to be different for you. And then I've done my absolute best to place the most accurate nutrition information here as I possibly can. Optionally, you can put the expiration date here. I put that in sometimes to help me remember to use up food before it expires. And then as you build out your recipes in here, what's nice is that if you do have a lot of a particular ingredient, you can see all of the recipes that that ingredient is in. Finally, you can define what store you like to buy this ingredient at here, or you can wait until your shopping list is built. One tip for figuring out the cost of different things per store, I will just use the Instacart app, and then if it says that bacon, for example, for 12 ounces is $9, I will reduce it by 15% because that is the upcharge typically that Instacart is putting on a product, and then just divide it by whatever unit I have depending on the product. You can add an ingredient by hitting new page on any of these. As soon as you put a quantity in for stock, it's going to automatically check this button that shows that you have it in stock. When you go to recipes, you'll be able to see how many products you already have in stock for a particular meal. So once a month, I try to go in here and make sure that the stock quantity is as accurate as possible, and then I go into my recipes. For each recipe card, you have the title. This is your cost per serving, the number of ingredients that you already have in stock, and then your macros per serving. I've left a handful in here as examples, but you can totally delete them and start over. And when you go to start a new recipe, let me show you what that looks like. And then add a title. I'll just do like white bean and sausage soup. You can add an icon, any icon that you would like. Add a cover if you want to add an image. I'm just gonna pick one from Unsplash for demonstration purposes, and add the number of servings. I have a little guide for how to use this written here, but I will kind of walk you through that now. So down in this area, click filter and then choose the new recipe name. Then click add group and then do the same thing, white bean and sausage soup. Then you're going to add your ingredients, like cannellini beans, for example. And I'm just kind of making this recipe up, by the way, although I do make this a lot. Because Notion won't allow you to create a formula for the name of an item, this has to be filled out manually. So I just like to use the name of the recipe and add a dash and then copy that down for all of these. Then I'll go into each one and just add the ingredient name. So even though this is a bit manual, it only takes 5 or 10 minutes per recipe, and then once it's here, you've got it for any time you need to do meal planning. Then in order to get the rest of this information to populate, all we need to do is make sure that all of these are showing up in the recipe ingredients here. So usually the most recent ones will pop up right here, but you just want to add each one and make sure you scroll down a little bit to catch them all. You can add the recipe source here, like a link to a blog, and then you can see your total cost per recipe, cost per serving, and then get a look at how nutritious this is. Once I see this, I will often go down and make adjustments to the recipe so that this looks a little bit more like what I want it to for my own goals. So you can see which ingredients are contributing the most to which macros and which ingredients are the most expensive. If you have groceries that don't really fit neatly into a recipe, I put those into this extras recipe. And for this, I just make sure that the amount per month that I need is in here and that the stock quantity, again, is accurate. Once you have your ingredient inventory and your recipes filled out, then you can go into the monthly meal planning. On this page, I also have a handy guide that just is walking you through what I'm walking you through right now. So the first thing I do is just add that extras page right here, and that's going to bring everything that you don't already have in stock to your shopping list. So for example, if I had already marked that I had at least 3 distilled waters in stock, it would not put this on my shopping list. So I'll show you what that looks like. If you go to ingredients, extras, actually I'll say that I have 2 so that you can see the math work. And then when you go back to your shopping list, it's gonna say that I only need 1. Then you can go into the real meal planning side of things. Optionally, you can add a date here. Unfortunately, this doesn't integrate very well with Notion Calendar right now, and it's due to limitations really with Notion Calendar. I will add my white bean and sausage soup, and you can see as you start to add things, it's gonna populate the shopping list for you. Whenever you don't have a meal plan for that day, you can just put leftovers in or leave it blank. I like to add it here so that I can just define that. I'll also include prep tasks like making chicken stock. You can add multiple recipes per day, and then your shopping list is really not meant for you to look at here, it's meant for you to look at on your phone. So I have a widget set up with this Notion page, and so as I'm out at each store, I can just check that off. If I accidentally check it off, I can go into purchased and uncheck it. So before you go shopping, you would add a store to each one of these. This shopping list is assuming that I have basically nothing in stock, so it's a lot longer than it would be for most people. So normally this recipe index is up a little bit farther and you can reference it as you are planning meals. Once all of your meals have been entered and your grocery list is made, you can go in and make adjustments. So for example, 20 cups of chicken stock, seeing that that's $20, I am gonna decide right now I'm gonna make that at home. Make sure that's on my prep task list. Another thing to look at is when the quantity that you need is so small, but you don't have it in stock, so you'll have to buy the entire thing. So for example, if I was completely out of paprika, it's going to be more than 2 cents to restock on that. So I can either decide that I'm not going to stock up and pick a different recipe or make some kind of substitution, or I can just kind of mentally factor in that's going to be a bit more. And because you're going to have some things where you only need a little bit, but you have to buy a bunch, I try to make sure that this sum at the end of the day is like 60 to 70% of my total grocery budget. And that way I have flexibility for snacks, for little things that come up. Then when it's time to do this all again, you just reset the shopping list. So for the sake of example, I'm going to check off a bunch of these and then show you that when you go to do this all again, you just hit reset shopping list and everything will uncheck, and then reset the meal plan and everything will be gone from your recipes column as well. You won't really need to go into this recipe ingredients page unless you delete a recipe. So for example, if I were to delete this white bean and sausage soup, all of those records that I created are still going to show up under this hidden group, and you can just delete these to make sure that Notion runs efficiently for you. And you can edit recipes from this view. I just find that it's a little bit clunky. So there's an overview of my meal planning and budgeting template. If you are a Notion wizard and you've got any suggestions at all for me, I would love to make this even better if I can. If you use this, I hope that it helps you to meet your goals the way that it's helped me to meet mine. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button so more people can see it. Thanks.